So one of my teammates pulls out his blowpipe and he tries to mog me. He tries to big dog me. But there's no way that I'm going to let him use his blowpipe when I have darts. Because half the content is using crappy gear. Guys, today we're going to try to get a very low budget ToB KC. And I'm going to go over the setup real quick. So, we got full void, which is, it's just obvious. Like, what else would we use, right? What's going to cost this setup to be a little pricey is the Abyssal Whip. It's necessary if we want to get the KC. Of course, we got the Climbing Boots G. I gotta go for the drip. If you ain't dripping, you're drowning, son. Ring of the Shadows, no cost. Rada's Blessing, no cost. A Glory's only 10k. You can find 10k on the ground at the GE. Come on now, guys. Now, switch to the Avernic with the Dragon Defender. It does not matter, really. I'm actually pretty proud of the inventory setup. So we got our Void switch. Addy darts are going for a whopping 21 GP. So I'm doing 100 of those. I got the Warped Scepter. I'm not going to show you how many charges are in there. I'm not. Salve. Salve is essential. It's essentially free as well. The Bone Dagger is a whopping 4k, 3k. I can do a lot with this. Big defense lowering kind of guy. Now I'm way too broke to bring super combats, so I'm going to bring two of each. And of course I'm not going to bring a full super store because we're balling on a budget. I'm going to try to get past the first 2 rooms with only half a dose or half a potion. And then I'm going to buy a ton at the chest. And then I'm on spellbook swap so I can do Venge and Thralls. So I'm going to hop into a Weeder Raids channel and I'm going to see if I can find a team and get a KC. So I think we found a team here. I hopped in Weeder Raids and it only took a couple of minutes before I actually found a team. And I'm trying to convince this guy that I'm not a total pleb. So I put on the Grandmaster Defender hilt. That way I could, wiggle my way into a team. And if he says, dude, what's with your gear? I hit him with of course, I got hacked. Now things do switch up a little bit here, guys. I added 2 capes. I realized I could add a mage cape and a range cape because they're both essentially free. I also added a range potion. I mean, why not? And, call me a cheater, but I'm gonna pre-pot. Now this is the Weeder Raids standard challenge, standard channel. These people have, a couple KC, 44, 245, and like 63 I think I saw. I kind of get lucky. And I kind of, they all have scythes. So, and I realized I brought my Draken's medallion and, it's whatever. I don't even care. I CBA to reset. So, I start off with the mage entry shot instead of a T-bow. And this staff looks so sick. Look at the animation. Zing. And then I go into the whipper. I don't think anyone here has a BGS. So what that means, my Bone Dagger is actually going to come in clutch. It's almost like the BGS for the team. And something else you need to notice is that my ping is 200. This is a UK world and I live halfway across the world. So UK is not a good ping for me. But it's okay. I make it work. And I realize I need a spellbook swap. Thralls are really good, especially if you don't have like a scythe. Honestly, the kill's not going too bad. I'm the bottom of the orb, which means I hardly take any aggro. And this is actually really good because I don't exactly have super combats to pot back up. I have 2 potions and they're not divine, so they're kind of ticking down, and I'd really prefer to have at least 1 going into Verzik. Now, of course, we're not going to skip here, just because this is like a standard raid, and skipping's a little bit of it's a higher leveled maneuver. We'll just say maneuver. But yeah, they all have scythes. They're all playing pretty well. Now, before the video ends, comment if I'm going to get the KC or not. Comment if I'm going to get the KC. So I pick up the monkfish and I debate on taking this guy's ankler. I really want to. I hope he forgets. But no cigar, and I run in to Bloat. And my DPS here is not going to be half bad because I have the, whatchamacallit. What's that called? The Salve Amulet, yes. And of course I'm going to Bone Dagger. right? I don't have a spec weapon because I'm no funds in the bank account. This guy griefs me, hits me with the flies. Not a big deal. I have 10 monkfish to eat. Guys, wait till Nylo. Nylo might be the best part of this raid. It's very funny. So I get in there. Now the important thing with the bone dagger is that you can't have the last hit. So it's important that you wait for your team to attack and then you spec with it. That way it actually works. And now I have to repot. I think I tank a stomp here. No problem for your boy because I got monkfish in the inventory. Today we got sushi for lunch. And yeah, I don't know if you could classify monkfish. Is monkfish like commonly eaten in the world? I don't know. Tell me, please tell me. So it's looking like it's going to be a 3 down, which is, it's not even bad. And the whipper kind of goes crazy. 49, 21. It's no scythe, but the whip's not half bad. And most people are going to be able to afford a tentacle whip. The setup I'm using is very unrealistic. Like, no one should be doing ToB with formula gear. You should have at least a fury, like an abyssal tentacle, a blowpipe, a trident. Void is fine when you're learning, definitely. I definitely recommend bandos just so you tank less damage. But yeah, this setup is very below par. So I don't recommend doing this unless you're trying to get content like me. And we get the kill, nice and easy. My thrall's chipping Bloat down. So I'm the range rule, which means I'm taking out the blicky and I'm gonna gang all these little crabs with my adamant darts. And here I want to get 1 brew because I'm not sure how good the team's gonna do at Sot, and I just want unlimited tickets. But I also buy a stamina and another super restore just in case I need it. So I just confirmed that I'm range, start throwing some venges, and I'm pretty excited. To use my darts. I've never done this before, and I'm gonna be honest, they kind of pop off. They're not half bad. So something that's funny is they think I'm the mage role because I start with my pre-fires. And I mean, this isn't like surprising. Look how sick that animation is. It's legit so sick. So this guy says need ranger, which I have on lock. But I was just doing the mage pre-fires. So one of my teammates pulls out his blowpipe and he tries to mog me. He tries to big dog me. But there's no way that I'm going to let him use his blowpipe when I have darts. Because half the content is using crappy gear. What would the fun be if I just used a whip, right? So, yeah, darts aren't half bad. I kind of reckon. And as long as you can stay pretty close, dude, they get the job done. So when I said in your setup you want a blowpipe, that's the last thing you want to buy. I'd buy anything before the blowpipe because apparently 21 GP adamant darts get the job done. Dude, this animation is so clean. Ah, RuneScape, good job on that one. So back at it with the darts. Yeah, ranges are pretty empty. I think it's because the second meleeer is so focused on helping me range. Probably because he sees me doing darts. But I don't need the help, dog. I am fully capable. And something that I do see like less experienced players do quite often is they try to help out other roles before their role is taken care of. So if there are melees in the room, you shouldn't be taking out the blowpipe if you're the melee role. And you know, if you're higher leveled and you understand, you know, all the waves and whatnot, then there's exceptions to this rule. Of course, there's always exceptions to the rule. But in general, unless your combat style is like completely empty in the room, you should not be switching to gear. And it's simply for the fact that like you're not going to be doing a full way switch, so might as well stick to what you're stick to your role where you have your best gear on. And yeah, the darts are going crazy. Let's be honest here. Not half bad. Get the aggro's, and not doing bad. And then I think I switched to mage a little bit just to help out the maging can get a little hectic at the end if people don't know which aggro's and which pre-fires to do. But looks like I just get so carried away throwing my darts. And I decided to take the old assembler out just for the fun of it. And yeah, apparently the darts kind of shred. So it looks like the pillars are a little bit low HP. And I don't want to lose any. Obviously, I don't want to lose any. So I take out... Nope, I go back to darts. And I'm making sure that we don't lose this pillar. Go to mage. Sick animation. And yeah, we actually don't lose any pillars. Pretty sick. Now, the boss should be pretty fun. I'm using my warped scepter, my adamant darts, and I thought I brought pot share, but I did not. So only I get the range push. I could have dropped it. I probably should have dropped it. And I do a little bit of spellbook swap action for the thrall. And dude, was my salve on that whole time? Oh, that's unfortunate. Dude, I could look at the animation all day. Okay, I'm gonna stop talking about it from now on. So, at this point, I'm like, my DPS is kind of bad. Maybe what I should do is purposely eat up and tank Vengeance. So I think, yeah, I eat the anglerfish there, and I just turn off the prayer, hoping that he'll smack me. And I think it works pretty well, I'm not gonna lie. The whip is definitely my best DPS in this setup, so I want to pre-switch to that. Then probably the darts. The darts aren't even half bad. Huge 65 off prayer. Crazy venge. Super good damage. And back to melee. I have no spec weapon except for the bone dagger, which I used at the start. Which in all fairness, wasn't half bad. You know, the bone dagger is a decent play. If you don't have a BGS, the bone dagger could be a decent play. I don't even know how many ticks it is. Is it 5 ticks? Is it 4 ticks? I don't know, but it's also kind of cool because if you don't know that, the bone dagger is a 100% hit accuracy. So you'll always get a hit from it. But obviously it's going to be a much lower hit than that of the BGS. And there I saw a super combat on the floor, and the temptation was real to steal it, but I'm going to try to stay true to the challenge. So back in with the pre-fire with the mage scepter, and I wonder if they know I don't have a BGS or a Warhammer, because they start calling out the rules and I don't say anything. I just say Phil. And I think we get a little lost here. This guy called Southwest apparently, and we're playing tag, you know, playing a little tag at recess. So of course I'm gonna tank my Vengeance off prayer, get my thralls up, and I feel like my damage is even half bad. Like, if 4 people had whips, then I don't think you're gonna have a good time at top. But if like half of your team has scythes and half of your team has whips with like decent gear, like a whip or an abyssal tentacle with like torture, it's not half bad. It's definitely not like good DPS in comparison with a scythe, but you can do ToB without having a scythe. Do not let that limit you, right? And you know, every Iron Man has done it, so if you're a main and you just want to learn ToB, like, you don't need to have a scythe. Definitely helps to get like a Saldo or a... I think Rapier is better than the... Yeah, the Rapier is better than the Whip, I'm pretty sure. So definitely try to get one of those, especially with the Rapier being so cheap. I mean, it's pretty affordable if you just do some mid-level content for a couple hours. I don't know. I feel like most mid content is like a couple mil an hour. If you do Vorkath for 10 hours, you're going to be able to afford a rapier. So do not let gear limit you. Please, please, please. So we got the second thrall because I'm worried the fight's going to last 6 minutes. Huge 50 off prayer. Start eating more monkfish. Hopefully I can get another revenge. I don't want to rush the maze, right? There's two reasons for this. One, I want to get the KC so I don't have to go back in and send this again, right? This gear is not optimal, and I got lucky with a good team. And the second reason is because unless you're running with experienced raiders, like, you should not be one tick in the maze. Slow down. Some people don't even have good enough internet to do that, so yeah, slow and steady wins the race, especially with learners. I don't know why I keep saying learners. Learner is what's the word? Like, it's really just a perspective. Technically, everyone's a learner. Unless you're 100% mastered ToB, you're a learner. So, while these players are technically learners, and I'm doing my air quotes, I mean, I don't know why I call them learners. They're solid players. They can get the KC. They don't die a lot. They're solid ToB players. But really anyone that is, really anyone that's trying to get better is technically a learner. So that's probably why I throw that term around a lot. Now we got to do a little bit of inventory management. I'm scared that at Verzik someone's going to die, and it's going to be an 8-minute fight. So I look at my points, and I'm organizing the Draken's medallion, and I only have 13 points. So I need to think about, obviously, prayer, because if the fight goes for a while, I need enough prayer. So, but I also need to make sure I have enough brews because I'm in Void, and if you have Void, Verzik's going to do a lot more damage to you. So I recommend you try to get Bandos if you can afford Torva. While Void is good for switches and whatnot, Bandos is just better. You're more tanky. His Verzik's range prayer is going to hit you a lot less, which is going to be less brews, less sipping brews, and more time attacking the boss fully potted. So I highly suggest you also save up for some Bandos. DPS comparison wise, I am not sure if Void or Bandos gives you more accuracy or max hit or whatnot. Yeah, someone let me know. I'm actually really curious about that. Like, not considering the time you're brewing and unpotted, is Bandos or Elite Void melee better DPS? So here we're doing some Xarpus, and you already know your boy's gonna hit the Bone Dagger. He's gonna hit that Bone Dagger after they use their Warhammers. So, like, the Bone Dagger's a budget BGS. It really is. And of course I have to learn how to do Xarpus with a 4-tick weapon. It's basically the same thing. I think I do it fine. But something weird kind of happens here. Like, I get like stalled, and I'm not sure if it's because I'm UK ping or like what was that? Maybe it was like an animation stall or something. I don't know. So I feel like I messed up and I bail. Looks like 2 of our teammates are doing scythe walking. One guy is still trying to get it down, but I respect the attempt, which is good. Always want to see people trying to do things that they cannot do. That's improvement, baby. And we have one guy using the blowpipe. And the blowpipe is actually pretty good DPS here, so don't count it out. Now I'm curious if a whip or a blowpipe is better DPS. My guess would actually be the blowpipe. Obviously, it depends on what darts you have in there, but I'd say like Amethyst up, it's probably better to use your blowpipe with full Elite Void over using a whip at Xarpus. That's just my inclination. I'm not fully sure of that. You know, if you're one of those guys and you know, let me know. So, get to the Screech phase of Xarpus, and I have to do a little bit of... I don't really know. I'm sure you can get 2 attacks every time on Xarpus with the whip. I can't can't state that as a fact, but I believe you can. And so that's kind of what I try to do. Unfortunately, my HP is a little low just because Xarpus takes a little bit longer if everyone's not doing Scythe Walk. So you're going to take more damage just from the acid. And I have to whip it out. Sorry, guys. And now we're down to the final boss. My boy, Verzik. Now I'm a little worried. I'm not going to lie. But I have good trust in my team. I don't really have a reason to doubt them so far. They've been on top of their game. Not even gonna lie. Also, guys, the new combat achievements are coming out, so I'm gonna try to release some videos for those. And yeah, hopefully people like those. I'm pretty excited. New combat achievements is always an exciting thing. Especially when you already have like all of them done, because it doesn't like add an overwhelming like new work to do. It's more like, yay, I get to work on combat achievements again a little bit. That's kind of the reality. Once you get combat achievements done, there's less things to do on RuneScape. So I'm excited for those, and I'll try to make some videos. So I'm trying to do the scepter tech, and I get my Dawnbringer double spec. Not too bad. Drop it, and it looks like I can do the accursed or the warped scepter into 2 whip hits, and I still have remaining ticks. So that's kind of cool. So I drop my stamina in effort to help him, but he does not take it, which is fine. And I also turn on Preserve. I think Preserve is worth it just because I don't have the divines, but I had to take it out. You guys are gonna be so annoyed. Like, dude, no one cares. But I took out the accursed scepter. The warp scepter, just so I could let it breathe, let it eat a little bit. You know, it's hungry. And now, Verzik's going pretty normal. Dude, this is so weird. I like animation stall. Don't get hit. It's kind of weird. Get back into cycle, and we're back in. Things are going pretty well. We get lucky. Only 1 crab spawn, which is pretty hype. Like, crabs can be some of the biggest obstacles for new ToBers. So, getting 1 crab spawn is pretty lucky. I want to sip up and get as high HP as I can before I redo my potions. Just because it's going to take... just because I'm running low. You know, I only have 2 doses of each left. So I really want to make sure I heal up as much as I can, especially because I don't have the Blood Fury. Now red crabs come out, and my whip just stops working. And I think P2 has the highest defense of all of Verzik, and so that's why the whip really feels like it stops to be as effective here. And I can only imagine bringing like a D-skim. So if we do a second episode, I have no idea what weapon I'm going to bring, because the whip is my high price ticket item right now. Not really sure what else I could drop. I could go to Myth Darts. No, they're not expensive enough. I could use like an Amulet of Strength. Looks like my thrall timer is almost up, but it looks like we're about to be P3, so I'm not too worried about it. And I try to get one more triple brew session in here before P3. Then I hit my super restore, and then I repot, and hopefully this goes decently well. 1, 2, 3. So it looks like you can spellbook swap and hit again within 4 ticks. Unless I'm wrong, which I don't know. Looks like we get a couple of crabs. I take out the scepter because I just want to see the animation. And it looks like one of my teammates actually freezes the crab, which is it's inefficient, but it's fine. It's not a big deal. And then he also uses the Sang on the crab, which killed it? I'm not sure. Run into webs. Webs is always important. And I think if you have a 4-tick weapon, then you should be following the 5-tick Scythers. I believe that's the protocol. Step up a prayer potion, get a little bit higher there. Keep running around. It's a little bit high HP, and that's okay, not a big deal. Hopefully we can get the kill before I run out of brews, which is looking quite... I mean, look at that tank with Void. And then I also want to tank a hit off Prayer for my Venge, and I take another 0. So apparently Void is the new Torva. About to proc Tornadoes. I do my last super heal into the super restore, and I sit my last... No, I want one more. Okay. And I sit my last super set. Now, it should be pretty chill from here, as long as everyone's attacking. I think I tank a purple here, though, which is really not good. And I'll tell you why it's not good. It's really bad to take a purple, because then the green ball comes out and you're done. So, that was really dumb by me. And unfortunately, I had no combo eats. So I just kind of left to my own devices, and I tried to follow someone, but it's kind of an L move right there. I shouldn't be doing that. But my team is on top. They get me the victory, and we get the KC. 7-minute Verzik, which is somewhat slow, but we got the KC. I hit him with the thank you for carry, and the challenge has been completed. Guys, thank you for watching. I hope you liked it. And of course, we have to look in what's the chest. Nothing. See you later.